When Andrei and Elizabeth first hit our screens, they seemed like any other 90-day fiancé couple. A little culture clash, a lot of personality, and a family dynamic that promised fireworks. Andrei, blunt, confident, and unapologetically himself, met Elizabeth, sweet, loyal, and determined to hold the line with her family. Right away, TLC had gold in their hands. Two personalities so different, they couldn't help but collide. Every dinner, every holiday, every casual conversation carried the potential for a meltdown. The network knew exactly how to package it. Conflict wasn't a problem, it was the product. Every fight, misunderstanding, and dramatic exit was carefully framed for maximum engagement. Fans didn't just watch. They dissected, debated, and shared. Memes sprouted faster than episodes could air, clips went viral, and social media exploded. People didn't watch Andrei and Elizabeth to root for them. They watched to witness chaos that was thrilling, but somehow just out of control enough to feel unpredictable. Early on, it worked perfectly. The infamous wedding meltdown, the arguments over money, the cultural clashes with Elizabeth's family, each moment gave fans content to consume and comment on. Andrei's bluntness became a punchline online. Elizabeth's loyalty became a topic of endless debate. Every awkward interaction was amplified by editing, confessionals, and music cues, making it feel like a roller coaster you couldn't step off. Ratings went up, online engagement went through the roof, and the couple became central to the franchise's hate-watch economy. Viewers were drawn less by empathy and more by curiosity and a mix of horror and fascination. Psychologically, it makes sense why people were glued. Andrei's intensity triggered strong emotional reactions, and Elizabeth's patience, or perceived compliance, gave viewers a narrative to judge and discuss endlessly. The audience didn't need them to succeed. They needed them to stay volatile, unpredictable, and just messy enough to keep screens buzzing. But even in these early days, you could sense the line between entertainment and liability. Every viral clip was a win, yes, but the same traits that made them watchable, the defiance, the unpredictability, the emotional intensity, also carried the seeds of future chaos. The question wasn't just whether fans would keep watching. The question was whether the network could handle them when the stakes got higher and when off-camera behavior started bleeding into production. And as you'll see, the very traits that skyrocketed their fame would eventually start pulling the whole franchise into dangerous territory. It wasn't long before the cameras caught more than just dramatic dinners and cultural clashes. Behind the scenes, Andrei and Elizabeth were already testing the limits of TLC's patience. Crew members reportedly faced walk-offs, scenes delayed by last-minute refusals, and constant script disruptions. What looked like simple on-screen disagreements often mirrored a larger, off-camera pattern. Two people who liked being in control, clashing with a production machine designed for precision and predictability. Scheduling became a nightmare. Shoots that were supposed to run smoothly stretched hours, sometimes days, and as Andrei questioned every direction and Elizabeth negotiated every line. Producers had to rewrite scripts, rearrange locations, and even intervene during fights just to keep the day moving. What the audience saw as spontaneous drama was often meticulously managed chaos behind the lens. Crew exhaustion became a real factor. People who usually thrive in high-pressure sets found themselves walking on eggshells around a couple whose unpredictability was escalating by the week. The disconnect between public image and private reality became glaring. Fans saw Andrei as confident, entertaining, and outspoken. Elizabeth seemed devoted and grounded. On screen, they generated memes, viral clips, and heated online discussions. Off-screen, though, they were creating logistical headaches that no viewer could imagine. Every fan-favorite meltdown meant hours of negotiations, sometimes involving producers pleading for cooperation just to keep shooting. It's here that the comedy and frustration intersect. Andrei and Elizabeth weren't bad people. They were just operating under their own rules. Their control issues clashed with TLC's structured production environment, where timing, continuity, and content strategy mattered as much as the drama itself. Every refusal, delay, or unexpected reaction wasn't just a minor hiccup. It was a ripple that affected multiple episodes, the marketing schedule, and the staff morale. Psychologically, it's easy to see why. People who crave control often feel safest when they shape every outcome, even if the environment isn't designed for it. Andrei's bluntness wasn't inherently malicious. It was a push against boundaries. Elizabeth's insistence on defending her perspective often escalated conflict, making the team choose between compromise and confrontation. The result? A high-tension bubble that alternated between entertainment gold and logistical nightmare. Fans had no clue how much strain this put on production. But their online behavior started to reflect a new dynamic. Clips once adored for their outrageousness began to attract criticism and judgment. Public sentiment wasn't just cheering chaos anymore. It was starting to push back, pointing out patterns and behavior that hadn't seemed problematic at first. Stay tuned, because in the next act, we'll see how this shift in fan perception began turning the couple's own audience against them, and why that would prove to be a pivotal turning point for their 90-day fiancé journey. The excitement that once surrounded Andrei and Elizabeth began to fray. At first, fans couldn't get enough. Every fight, every cultural clash, every outrageous reaction was a reason to hit replay, screenshot, or share. Social media feeds were buzzing with clips, memes, and endless debate. People were obsessed, following every move, dissecting every word, and predicting the next argument before it even aired. It felt like they were untouchable stars of the hate-watch economy. But obsession can turn into exhaustion. By the time a few seasons rolled by, the pattern was clear. The same arguments, the same power struggles, the same off-camera drama leaking into social media posts. The novelty wore off. Fans who initially laughed or gasped began to critique, complain, and eventually drift away. Platforms that once celebrated their every feud now hosted petitions, threads, and comment sections calling out their behavior. Engagement numbers began to slip, likes plateaued, and discussions shifted from "can't wait to see what happens next" to "here we go again. Same fight, same chaos." The psychological shift is fascinating. Overexposure has a way of turning empathy into judgment. Viewers who once rooted for their survival, their culture clashes, or their family drama suddenly started noticing patterns of manipulation, control, and recurring conflict. Andrei's bluntness became abrasive. Elizabeth's insistence on defending herself became exhausting. What was once entertaining now felt draining. Fans were no longer cheering the chaos, they were weary of it. Even hardcore supporters began to question whether the couple's antics were worth the airtime. Memes that once celebrated their fights now felt mean-spirited. Comment sections that had fueled debates about who was right turned into critiques of how far they'd pushed production and their audience. Their fame, built on conflict, had reached a tipping point where audience tolerance had run dry. The irony is brutal. Social media, the very platform that amplified their fame, became the arena that signaled their decline. Every post, every clip, every viral moment that once boosted their visibility started to erode it. Fan fatigue doesn't just shrink your audience, it transforms your audience into critics. And in the world of reality TV, when your fans turn skeptical, no amount of drama, money, or strategic edits can hold up your status. Stick around, because in the next act, we'll see why even Andrei and Elizabeth's financial incentives and viral ratings couldn't protect them, and how the network quietly decided that the risk had finally outweighed the reward. Andrei and Elizabeth's antics were never subtle, but behind the cameras, things were escalating in ways that couldn't be ignored. A green card meltdown allegedly shook the production office. Reports suggested that conversations meant to be private turned into shouting matches that disrupted the entire schedule. Scenes were refused, walk-offs became more frequent, and even scripted moments, carefully planned for a maximum drama, were sabotaged by unexpected outbursts. What was once charmingly volatile on screen now translated into a production nightmare. Insiders describe a tipping point. Crew members reportedly filed formal complaints, citing repeated disruptions and confrontations that put everyone on edge. Security reportedly had to intervene in at least one incident, and production logs allegedly document a pattern of missed calls, ignored directions, and outright refusals to follow the shooting plan. Each episode wasn't just a challenge for ratings, it became a logistical headache and a liability for the network. It's striking to consider the contrast. Not long ago, Andrei and Elizabeth were the golden duo of conflict-driven engagement. Viral fights, heated family disputes, and explosive social media clips had made them must-watch personalities. Their behavior once created memes, hashtags, and trending topics. But fame built on chaos has a shelf life. When that chaos starts threatening crew safety, production integrity, and brand reputation, the calculus changes. TLC's response was strategic, quiet, and careful. Instead of a public showdown, they gradually phased the couple out. Editing choices minimized their presence, scheduled scenes were reduced or canceled, and the network reportedly limited access to sets and filming opportunities. Every missed beat and every skipped scene added up. Fans might have assumed drama was still unfolding, but behind the curtain, the decision to separate them from production was already in motion. What finally broke the network's tolerance? Allegedly, it was the accumulation of incidents. The green card meltdown, the refusals to cooperate, the verbal confrontations, and repeated disruptions that made producing even a single episode a risk. The couple's fame, once a network asset, had morphed into a liability too heavy to carry. Viral success couldn't offset the costs, and engagement numbers no longer justified the chaos. The cameras were off, but the drama didn't stop. For Elizabeth, being suddenly removed from TLC wasn't just a career setback. It was an emotional earthquake. Fans watched from afar as her online presence shifted, posts became less frequent, and stories hinted at frustration and disappointment. Family members allegedly weighed in, offering support while navigating the uncomfortable spotlight themselves. The network's decision created a vacuum, and with it came the challenge of maintaining visibility in an industry that moves fast and rarely waits for anyone. Andrei faced his own uphill battle. Attempts to leverage YouTube, TikTok, and other social platforms were met with limited engagement. Clips that might have gone viral before barely registered. His posts, sometimes defensive, sometimes nostalgic, revealed the difficulty of translating reality TV notoriety into a sustainable, independent brand. The energy that once fueled his on-screen persona now collided with the reality that attention is fleeting, and social media algorithms don't guarantee fame. Fame withdrawal is more than a numbers game. For both Andrei and Elizabeth, reality TV had become a core part of identity. It shaped how fans perceived them and how they perceived themselves. Without the network platform, influence dwindled, brand partnerships stalled, and the constant feedback loop of likes, comments, and trending clips disappeared. The sudden absence forced introspection. What does it mean to be a star when the stage is gone? How do you maintain relevance when your main platform no longer exists? The psychological strain was palpable. Fans speculate on the personal cost of losing not just the cameras, but the ecosystem that supported their fame. For some reality stars, the withdrawal feels like invisibility, an abrupt shift from viral household names to online obscurity. Every post becomes a plea, every video a reminder that visibility is conditional and that trust and compliance with production rules are often the invisible currency behind the spotlight. For Andrei and Elizabeth, the takeaway is clear. Notoriety alone doesn't guarantee longevity. Fame can vanish overnight, and rebuilding requires more than social media clout. It requires strategy, restraint, and a willingness to work within structures that once felt restrictive. Looking ahead, their story also serves as a cautionary tale. Upcoming reality stars who chase viral chaos might generate instant attention, but the long-term consequences, loss of platform, public scrutiny, and career stagnation are very real. The question now is, who will heed the lessons of Andrei and Elizabeth before repeating the same mistakes? And how will networks continue to police the line between profitable conflict and unsustainable chaos? Next, we'll reveal how fans reacted one final time, from petitions to viral commentary, and how public perception ultimately sealed the couple's exit from reality TV forever. Andrei and Elizabeth's story isn't just entertainment, it's a blueprint for understanding how reality TV operates behind the cameras. Fame isn't just about viral fights or social media trends. Conflict can be profitable, but it's a double-edged sword. Networks measure stars by their ability to generate engagement without tipping the scale into unmanageable risk. Trust, compliance, and adaptability are the real currencies. Once these erode, notoriety alone can't protect anyone from being quietly cut. Since their exit, producers are reportedly more cautious than ever. Behavioral clauses in contracts have become stricter, social media activity is under closer scrutiny, and penalties for off-script disruptions can now include immediate removal or fines. It's a reminder to aspiring reality stars. Fame is conditional, attention is fleeting, and the structure supporting you will enforce rules, even if the audience only sees drama on screen. Yet, it's worth noting why Andrei and Elizabeth lasted as long as they did. Their charisma, the intensity of their personalities, and the viral potential of their conflicts made them valuable for years. Networks tolerated a high degree of chaos because it translated directly into ratings and social buzz. Not every couple is lucky enough to receive this kind of attention, and their longevity was unusual. It wasn't just reckless behavior. It was high-risk entertainment that walked a line few dared to approach. The key lesson for future stars is clear. Chaos can create fame, but understanding where the network draws the line is critical. You can be provocative, entertaining, even controversial, but ignoring production rules, undermining structure, or alienating support systems will always carry consequences. Fans and insiders alike are left wondering, what if Andrei and Elizabeth had adapted? What if they had leveraged their fame strategically, maintained compliance, and navigated conflict more carefully? Could they have continued to thrive? Or was their removal inevitable once the scales tipped? Next, we'll explore the pivotal moments where the couple could have saved their careers, and why those choices mattered more than any viral fight ever could. Imagine if Andrei and Elizabeth had played the game differently. Their fame wasn't the problem. It was how they managed it. A more measured approach behind the scenes, a willingness to follow production guidance, and timing their on-camera drama could have prolonged their relevance. Networks value predictability within chaos. You can stir the pot, but if the pot spills over and burns the kitchen, nobody wins. Fans love them because of intensity, but intensity without boundaries becomes a liability. Strategically pacing viral moments, leaning into fan engagement thoughtfully, and choosing when to escalate conflicts could have kept them in the spotlight without triggering the network's red lines. Behind-the-scenes cooperation, showing willingness to film scenes, respecting schedules, and even negotiating storyline input might have allowed them to keep generating content while protecting their platform. There was also the digital pivot they arguably missed. YouTube, TikTok, and other social media channels offered ways to leverage personality without relying entirely on TLC. Collaborations, brand deals, and narrative control could have extended their influence beyond traditional reality TV. The emotional twist is clear. Influence without structure can collapse fast. Fame that isn't anchored in consistency, professionalism, or strategic thinking tends to burn out, and it burns bridges. Even now, watching their attempts to reclaim attention off-network, it's evident how fleeting notoriety can be. The very traits that fueled their rise, the volatility, the unpredictability, the drama, could have been channeled rather than squandered. Fans might have been just as captivated, but the couple would still have a platform to grow from, instead of facing silence and fading relevance. The question lingers. Could careful navigation have rewritten their story? Or was their trajectory always on a collision course with the network? From meteoric rise to sudden disappearance, Andrei and Elizabeth's journey shows the double-edged sword of reality TV fame. They captured attention with intense personalities, family drama, and cultural clashes, fueling viral moments and endless social media chatter. Behind the scenes, chaos mounted, crew walk-offs, missed scenes, and escalating tensions slowly turned the network's tolerance into a ticking clock. Fan obsession shifted into fatigue. Memes turned to complaints. And eventually, even the network decided that their behavior outweighed their entertainment value. The permanent ban wasn't dramatic or public. It was silent, surgical, and irreversible. The personal fallout has been striking. Elizabeth has tried to maintain her visibility while processing family pressures and emotional strain. Andrei's attempts at YouTube and TikTok fame highlight how difficult it is to pivot when a platform disappears. Their story reinforces a key lesson. Fame is fragile, visibility is conditional, and long-term success depends as much on compliance, consistency, and strategic thinking as on personality or drama. The big question remains: can Andrei and Elizabeth ever regain the spotlight? Or is their influence permanently tethered to the network that once showcased them? For anyone chasing reality TV fame, their journey is both a cautionary tale and a roadmap of what not to do. Stick around, because in our next video, we'll explore another jaw-dropping 90-day Fiancé fallout, this time focusing on the stars who navigated chaos successfully, and what insiders say helped them stay in the game while others fell. You won't want to miss it.